I don't know why I'm writing this. Maybe because I need someone, anyone, to believe me. Or maybe because the memory is rotting my mind from the inside, and this is the only way I can bleed it out. It happened on Christmas Eve, the night that should have been safe, warm, and filled with nothing but laughter and the rustling of wrapping paper. Instead, it was the night that destroyed the meaning of Christmas for me forever. After putting my 4-year-old daughter, Emily, to bed, I felt a rare sense of peace. She was excited about Santa coming, her little voice still echoing in my ears as she drifted off to sleep, clutching her teddy bear. "Good night, Daddy. Santa's coming." I went downstairs, made myself comfortable by the fire, and put on a movie. The glow of the fireplace mixed with the flicker of the screen, wrapping me in a cocoon of false safety. Outside, snow was falling heavily, muting the world in silence. It felt like nothing could touch us. But that was the first lie of the night. Because around 11 o'clock, I heard it. Knock. Sharp, hollow, against my living room window. I froze. At first I thought I'd imagined it. The wind, the house settling. But then it came again. Knock. Knock. Slow, deliberate, too intentional to be anything natural. I turned my head toward the window. Through the frosted glass, there was nothing, only snowflakes swirling in the darkness. My heart thudded in my chest, but I forced myself to breathe. Probably some kids, I told myself, pranksters with nothing better to do. Trying to ignore it, I walked over and yanked the blinds shut with a snap. Let them see I wasn't playing their game. I returned to my movie. Minutes ticked by, and I felt myself beginning to relax again, forgetting the sound, convincing myself it hadn't even really happened. Then, it came back. Knock, knock, knock. This time louder, a steady rhythm that seemed to rattle right into my bones. The remote slipped from my hand, clattering to the floor. My chest tightened. It wasn't just knocking anymore, it was deliberate, purposeful, like someone wanted not just my attention, but my fear. And God help me, I gave it to them. I crept toward the window, every step making my heart beat faster. The blinds fluttered slightly in the heat from the radiator. I reached out with trembling fingers and pulled them aside just an inch. At first, I saw nothing but darkness. Then, against my better judgment, I slid the window open a crack. Cold air rushed in. My breath caught in my throat. That's when I heard it. A voice. Low, raspy, wrong. "Let me in, please. I'm so cold." It wasn't the voice of a neighbor. It wasn't the voice of a child. It wasn't the voice of anything I should have been hearing outside my home on Christmas Eve. I slammed the window shut so fast it rattled in the frame, my hands shaking as I dropped the blinds. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it might burst. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought shutting him out would keep him out. But I was wrong. So horribly wrong.
I wish I had trusted my gut. I wish I had shut everything down and called the police the moment I heard that voice, but I didn't. Instead, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I listened. After I slammed the window shut, I sat back down, trying to steady my breathing. The fire still crackled. The movie still played, but I couldn't focus. The voice clung to me like smoke, seeping into my ears, even though the night outside was now silent. I told myself it was a beggar, some homeless man desperate for warmth. That thought almost made me feel guilty until I replayed the words in my head. The way he spoke wasn't like someone begging. It was too calm, too rehearsed. I don't know why I did it, but after a few minutes, I crept back to the blinds. My hands trembled as I slowly pulled them apart. Nothing. Just snow piling up on the porch, the street lights hazy behind the falling flakes. Relief washed over me for a moment. He was gone. But then I heard it. Not knocking this time. A whisper. Right against the glass. "Let me in. I can see the fire. Just for a moment, please." I stumbled back, my throat tightening. My mind screamed that it wasn't possible. The window was shut, the blinds were drawn, yet I heard him as clear as if he were standing next to me. I forced myself to answer, my voice shaking. "Go away, I'll call the cops." For a few seconds, there was silence. Then, a laugh. Not the laugh of someone amused, not even the laugh of someone mocking me. No, this laugh was broken, jagged, like a record player scratching out a distorted sound. It made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. "Call them," the voice hissed. "They can't keep me out." I swear to you, I felt the house grow colder. The fire didn't matter anymore. My breath came out in white puffs. I clutched the edge of the sofa, frozen in place, my ears straining for the next sound. Then came the slam. Someone threw their full weight against the window. The glass shuddered. I saw the blinds shake violently as if invisible hands were trying to rip them down. My heart jumped into my throat. For a split second, I was sure the glass would shatter, that he'd come crawling through like some starving animal. And then nothing. Silence. The kind of silence that presses on your ears until you can hear your own heartbeat thundering inside your skull. I waited. 1 minute. 2. 10. Nothing moved. No voice, no sound. I should have gone upstairs then. I should have checked on Emily immediately. But I didn't. I was too scared to move, too afraid that if I left the living room, he'd somehow get in. So I sat there, every muscle locked, staring at the blinds. When I finally forced myself to stand, the clock on the wall read nearly midnight. My legs were weak, my palms slick with sweat. I whispered to myself, "It's over. He's gone." I wanted to believe that. God, I needed to believe that. But the night wasn't finished with me, because just as I turned to head upstairs, I heard something else. Creak. The sound of a floorboard. Not outside, not at the window, but inside, upstairs, right where my daughter was sleeping.
I remember the exact sound, the creak that came from upstairs. It wasn't random. It wasn't the house settling. It was deliberate, the sound of weight shifting across floorboards. My blood froze. My first thought wasn't of myself. It was of Emily, my little girl, my baby. She was up there, all alone. I grabbed the nearest thing I could use as a weapon, a fire poker from beside the hearth, and I crept toward the stairs. Every step I took felt like it echoed through the house. My ears strained for another sound, but the silence that followed was worse than the noise. It was the kind of silence that felt alive, like something was waiting for me to move. When I finally reached the top of the stairs, I noticed something that made my stomach twist. Emily's door wasn't fully closed. I always close it, always. Just a crack of light from her nightlight glowed into the hall. I pushed it open, my voice shaking. Emily? She was sitting up in bed, her teddy bear clutched tightly to her chest, her wide eyes reflecting the faint glow of her lamp. When she saw me, she smiled, with a sleepy innocence that tore at my heart. "Daddy, Santa's here." The words hit me like a hammer. "What?" I managed to choke out. Emily pointed toward the window. "He was knocking. He said he has presents for me. He said if I let him in, I could open them early." I rushed to the window, yanking the curtains aside, my hands shaking violently. There was nothing outside, just the heavy snowfall, the glass fogged by frost. No man, no tracks in the snow, nothing. For a moment, I almost let myself breathe. Maybe she dreamed it. Maybe it was her imagination. But then Emily spoke again. "He told me not to be afraid. He said he's already inside." My fear came back with a rush, my gut twisting. I spun toward her, heart slamming in my chest. "What did you say?" She hugged her bear tighter. "He whispered it in my ear. He said he was standing right behind me." The room was suddenly colder, unnaturally cold, like the heat had been sucked out. My breath came in pale wisps. My hand trembled as I gripped the fire poker, my eyes darting to the dark corners of her room. No one was there, but I swear to you, I felt it. The weight of eyes pressing on us, watching from just beyond where the light reached. I pulled Emily out of bed and held her close, my heart thundering so hard I thought it might burst. "You're safe," I whispered, though I didn't believe it. "You're safe. Daddy's here." But even as I said it, the shadows in the hallway seemed to shift. I heard the faintest sound, a low, dragging scrape, like nails brushing across wood. It came from the direction of the stairs. I slammed Emily's door shut, locked it, and pressed my back against it. I stayed there all night, clutching the fire poker, holding my daughter in my arms as she drifted back to uneasy sleep. I didn't sleep at all. I didn't dare. And through the silence of the house, I could hear it. That same laugh, low, broken, right outside her window. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? I sat with my back against Emily's bedroom door, clutching the fire poker so tightly my knuckles turned white. My daughter lay curled in my lap, her tiny breath soft against my chest. She trusted me. She thought I could protect her. But deep down, I knew I wasn't strong enough for what was in this house. Because it wasn't just outside anymore. It was here. The hours dragged like years. The shadows seemed to shift with every flicker of her nightlight. The floorboards groaned, not once, not twice, but in steady patterns like someone pacing just outside the door. Every time the creaking stopped, I found myself holding my breath, waiting for the handle to turn. And at midnight, it did. The knob rattled, slow at first, then harder. I gripped the fire poker, ready to swing. My heart hammered in my chest. I whispered to Emily not to make a sound. Then came the voice. "Open the door.
it's me. It's Santa. I brought her gifts." It wasn't a whisper this time. It was playful, almost sing-song, mocking. Emily stirred in my arms, whispering, "Daddy, it's okay. He's nice." I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her, to tell her it was a lie. But she was too young to understand that monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they wear masks. Sometimes they steal the faces of the things children love most. The knob twisted again, harder. I gripped the fire poker, ready to swing. My heart hammered in my chest. I whispered to Emily not to make a sound. Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. Silence. For a moment, I thought it was over. But then I heard something that turned my blood to ice. Knock. 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 At the window. Slowly, I turned my head. Emily's small window, frosted with ice, was vibrating with each knock, and there, through the thin veil of snow, I saw him. A man-shaped shadow, his face pressed against the glass, grinning, but the smile was wrong, stretched too wide, teeth too long, eyes too black. His hand tapped the window in that steady rhythm, leaving behind long, pale smudges on the frost. I wanted to scream, but no sound came. I pulled Emily tighter, burying her face in my chest, shielding her from the thing staring in. And then it whispered, not from outside, not through the glass, but inside my head. "He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake." The words slithered into my skull, filling every corner of my mind. I felt dizzy. The room spun. I blinked, and he was gone. The window stood empty again, only the snow outside. But in that moment of relief, I made the mistake of looking away. When I looked back, Emily's bed was empty. I shot to my feet, my chest collapsing in on itself. She wasn't in my arms anymore. The window was wide open. Snow blew in, coating the floor. And on the sill, sitting neatly, was her teddy bear. I screamed her name. I tore through the house. I searched every room, every corner, every closet. But she was gone. My little girl was gone. On the glass of the window, scrawled in frost by a finger that wasn't hers, were the words, "Be good, for goodness sake." That's how Christmas ended for me. That's how I lost my daughter. And that's why every year when the snow falls and the carols play, I don't celebrate. I sit in her empty room, staring at the window, waiting for the knock I know will come again. Because once he finds a house, he never leaves. And now he knows me. He knows when I'm sleeping. He knows when I'm awake. And worst of all, he knows I wasn't good.